What's good? What's going on? It's your boy Rell, and I'm back here with another video. Today we are reacting again because this is the reaction channel. The truth about Bronny James playing in the NBA. Now, there's a lot of conversation about it. I even have some strong feelings about this. Mainly the nepotism factor of it. I got put in the league, and then even Cliff Paul telling the agents, "Hey, tell whoever you got to tell that don't draft Bronny. Do not draft Bronny. If you draft Bronny, you're gonna waste your money because he's going to Australia, and you're gonna waste the pick." I'm gonna save all that for the video. Let's get into it.
With the 2024 NBA draft in the books, there is one major discussion that has dominated the NBA space over the last week. It isn't about the #1 overall pick. It isn't about the outlook of.
I said Cliff Paul. It's Rich Paul. Cliff is. I just said Cliff.
These teams going into next season. It's about a late second-round pick, and for good reason, because his name is LeBron James. And he's gonna play in the NBA with LeBron James. It's a weird and unprecedented circumstance that the NBA has never encountered before. A player who many fans consider to be the greatest of all time playing in the NBA with his own son.
Crazy.
A story so strange, you'd think the NBA scriptwriters outsourced their work to ChatGPT, pick the most batshit result,
bro, heavy on bad shit. Heavy on bad shit. I'm telling you.
Called it a day. But after 2 years of speculation, we now know with certainty that Bronny James will be an NBA player. And right on cue, the criticism of his merits and value as a future player.
Already making excuses for him. Fans disagree with NBA's inside nepotism definition amid Bronny James getting. Bruh, I'm telling you, it's just so weird. Leave in the comment section below. What do y'all think about the nepotism factor of this whole thing? Like, do y'all respect it? Like, bruh, y'all should just have better dads. I don't know what your father did for you. Do y'all respect that, or is it just like, man, no? I feel like there's other people who would deserve. It's other people who deserve that spot. It's people who just trying to move their families out the hood who really ain't had nothing, and they trying to get something for themselves. It's some people who been undrafted that could have had Bronny's spot. Like, how do y'all feel about it? To me, I'm 50-50. I get it. I can't, like, I'm mad at the fact that it was easy for him. Well, I can't say easy because he put the work in. It's just that step, the crucial step, was very easy for him. But also, that's his dad, though. You mean if it was your son, you would do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So I see both sides of it. Now, which one I lean more towards, I'll see after this video.
Player in the NBA have already came pouring in. Scouts and GMs claiming Bronny as a
What'd they say?
player in the NBA have already.
No one really wants him unless they're getting LeBron Parsons sale of Bronny. He's not the next. He's not, and I think Bron knows that. Everybody in the league knows that. Like, even there's an article I saw on ESPN that he's might be at his best a 3-and-D player because he shot well in the combine. So I can see that. Like, but yeah, I don't think he's gonna be like a generational player like his father. No, I do not think that at all. But I feel like he's probably decent.
Pouring in. Scouts and GMs claiming Bronny as a prospect isn't even worth using a late second-round pick on, and that the real value lies in his last name and the leverage it comes with. But how valuable is a second-round pick, really? And is Bronny a legitimate NBA player, or is he only in conversation solely because of who his dad is?
Who do you want to play with?
Bronny is #1 on my list.
I gotta be on the floor with Bronny.
Hey, who made this documentary?
Today's video
Jimmy
is sponsored by
Highroller?
SeatGeek.
I was scared. Hey, they're not
It's
paying me, so we gonna skip.
This is Ken Griffey, former major leaguer and 3-time All-Star. This is Ken Griffey Jr., son of Ken Griffey. And in 1990, these two did one of the coolest things a father and son can possibly do. They played in the MLB together. And when I say together, I don't just mean they played in the MLB at the same time. They were on the same team. In fact, they weren't just on the same team, they shared the same outfield with each other. It's probably the rarest and most badass thing you'll ever see in sports.
That is cold.
Making it to the big leagues is one thing, but playing in the big leagues next to your kid is.
That's so cold. It is so cold, though.
A club exclusive to only these two. And if that wasn't incredible enough, on September 14th, 1990, the Griffeys pulled off something that you will never see again in your lifetime.
I'm gonna inch back up there now. Well hit the center field. Devon White going back. Gone! A 2-run home run.
He hit one. Don't tell me he hit a home run. Okay. That was tough. That was hard.
The Griffeys were great, and they were the first and only father-son duo in the history of Major League Baseball. But they weren't the first father-son duo in professional history of Major League Baseball. But they weren't the first father-son duo in professional sports. This is Gordie Howe, one of the greatest players to ever touch the ice. He won 4 Stanley Cups, 6 MVPs, held the NHL record for total career points at the time of his retirement, and is a member of the NHL's 100th anniversary team. Gordie had an incredible pro career as a hockey player. And yet, out of all of his accomplishments, the coolest thing he ever did was this. This is Mark and Marty Howe, Gordie's sons, and he played professional hockey with them in both the WHA.
Bro, this junk like, y'all ever bought a dog, like a sports dog? You know what I'm saying? Like, boom, like one of my dream dogs, like a Great Dane. I want to own a Great Dane. And then, you know, they be having competition Great Danes, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying these athletes are dogs, but it really get to a point to where like they are breeding. They're breeding a championship breed. You know what I'm saying?
And the NHL for 5 seasons. Now, if you're thinking, that guy looks a little old to be playing professional sports, you're right. Gordie began his career in the NHL in 1946 when he was just 18 years old. By the time he retired for good, he was 51.
Dang.
A career that stretched from the 1940s to the 1980s. And only with a career like this can a player even have a shot at playing in the league together with their son. Why exactly am I talking about home runs and Gordie Howe? Well, because they're awesome, but also because of these two and what they're about to accomplish in their own sport. LeBron and Bronny James, who are on track to being the first father and son duo to play together in the NBA, an idea that seemed far-fetched when LeBron first mentioned it years ago, but has now become a reality.
But then also, none of those athletes were named as the best player to ever play that sport. Like, Griffey was good, you feel me? I don't know about the hockey players. But LeBron, you know, LeBron and Jordan and Kobe debates. 3 GOATs, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like this is the first time like we actually had like a GOAT, you feel me, play with his son. That's crazy.
But how legitimate is Bronny's spot in the league? And is the backlash warranted? Well, to answer this question, we first need to know just how good Bronny is as a prospect and as an incoming NBA player. Right now, NBADraft.net has Bronny rated at an 88 overall across their 12 prospect metrics. This overall rating puts Bronny on the lower end of all second-round picks and future prospects over the last 3 years, but well within range of your typical mid to late first-rounder. Now, here are Bronny's numbers during his 1 season of college basketball. 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists a game on 47, 30, 69%.
5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists per game, 36 field goal range, 3-point percentage, 26, free throws, 67. But how many games he actually played?
Shooting splits. Now these numbers, especially from a relatively undersized guard, do not scream NBA potential.
They don't.
But for perspective, here are the average collegiate stats from every late second-round pick that played college basketball over the last 5 years. And even when compared to late second-round picks,
whoa,
Bronny's numbers aren't nearly as impressive.
Whoa, for sure they're not. And then on top of that, they bigger than him too. 6'2" guard, 6'6". To be honest, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, bro. This is my thing. This is what I believe is gonna happen. LeBron gonna play with both his sons. He gonna play with Bryce and he gonna play with Bronny. Once that happens, he's gonna play a season with them. He's not gonna get greedy. He's not gonna try to win a championship with them. He's gonna retire. I give Bronny 2 to 3 seasons. May ends up in the G League. After that, he gonna go the influencer route. He gonna be a streamer, a YouTuber, something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's fine. I'm not saying like that's what he has to do. What I'm saying is I don't think with these numbers, even though he only played a little bit of games, I don't think he wants to play basketball. He's doing it because, you know, that's what he's always done. That's what he always known. But I feel like, remember when Bronny was streaming? I feel like that's when he was really happy. Granted, he was younger. Really think he will be a great, you know, personality, influencer. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think Bronny gonna do.
In fact, Bronny is arguably the least productive college prospect in NBA history. Here is a list of every player in the entire history of the NBA to be selected in the first 2 rounds of the draft that averaged less than 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists a game in college.
Don't just put Bronny's name up there.
And
why he had that music?
in college.
What we got? Roberto, I don't know who that is. Chet Diallo. Okay, I think I played with him. I was about to say I think I lost with him in 2K something, but
and that's it. Just 3 players who were selected in the NBA draft with college numbers equal to or less than Bronny's college numbers. Pair that with the fact that these prospects.
But I would say Bronny wins points per game. Bronny wins rebounds per game. Bronny wins rebounds per game, and he's smaller than both of them. He wins assists per game. What's that total shots? 47% minutes per game, 19. Oh, he played longer though. They all did this all what they did in 1 to 6 minutes. He played 19 minutes with these scores.
Prospects had at least having NBA frames and physical tools to be potentially built off of, and the case for Bronny warranting a pick in the NBA draft becomes more and more difficult to make. But to really demonstrate exactly where Bronny falls amongst other second-round picks, here is a chart of every college basketball player selected in the second round of the draft over the last 10 years, with box plus minus on the x-axis and minutes per game on the y-axis. 298 selections spanning 10 drafts. More than half of these players not even in the NBA today. Where's Bronny? He's right here. Most late draft picks, even the guys who go on to not even make a roster in the league, were first or maybe second options in their college program. Bronny, on the other hand, was an undersized rotational player on a sub-500 team.
But I can already hear the comments. But he only played 19 minutes because he had a cardiac arrest. He almost died, so he was only allowed to play 15 minutes. We get that. But this is the field he stepped in. If that was the case, if he really cared about basketball and wanted to actually be seen as a respectable athlete, he would have told Dad, chill out, Dad. I'm going to go ahead and play this other year so I can really show people what I got. And I want to prove that I'm a really good basketball player. But no, what he do? I don't care. Okay, Dad, I'll go to the league. Like, you feel me, bro? No disrespect to Bronny. If he ever watched this, like, this is what I'm watching. This is what the world is seeing. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't take an NBA scout to know that Bronny James's collegiate career wasn't that of your typical second-round draft pick. But how good is the typical second-round pick? With the rise of second-round sleepers in recent history, most notably players like Nikola Jokic, Jalen Brunson, Herb Jones, and Jordan Clarkson, the potential value of a second-round pick in the NBA draft is about as high as it's ever been. With the help of advanced metrics, the curtain has been pulled back on the value even a solid role player can provide to a winning team. Prospect scouting has gotten more comprehensive than ever before, and these second-round picks have held considerable weight within recent trades around the NBA. But how valuable does that truly make them? Gathered from 10 years worth of draft classes from 2013 to 2022, data shows that on average, out of the 30 players drafted in the second round, about 6 of them won't even suit up in the NBA. That's about 1 in every 5 players selected in the second round that will never see a minute of action in the league. Out of the 24 players who do make a roster in their rookie season, about 17 of them end up playing a second season in the NBA.
Wow.
Of those 17 players that are good enough to stick around for more than a few seasons, only about 8 of them will go on to be a role player or rotational level player.
See, that's what I'm saying. I don't think Bronny's going to stay in the league for long. Bryce, on the other hand, I think he would probably be a real hooper, quotation marks. And what I mean by quotation marks is like he actually likes playing basketball and actually a star player or wants to actually do things with basketball. Now, Bronny, I don't think so. His dad's a billionaire at the minimum. He signed that lifetime deal with Nike. Bronny's not hurting for money. That's why I just think he's just going to be a streamer. At some point, you could probably catch him doing at least one 24-hour stream on GTA 6.
One step further, and on average, only 4 of these second-round picks will become a starting caliber player in their career. That's about 1 in every 8 players selected in the second round. And finally, of the 298 players selected in the second round of the draft from 2013 to 2022, only 2 of them became All-Stars.
Dang.
Nikola Jokic and Jalen Brunson.
Okay.
If we think about the last 10 years of second-round picks on a scale of box plus minus, with Nikola Jokic being on one end and the players who don't even make a roster on the other, then most players aren't in the middle. In fact, they're not even close. Most second-round picks fall way down here, somewhere in between what Basketball Reference would classify as an end-of-the-bench player and out of the league. When considering how to use a second-round pick, the idea of drafting a guy who ends up being a real contributing player, a starter, or even a future MVP, the perceived opportunity cost can tend to outweigh the actual value of the pick. Drafting a player of this caliber in the second round is like finding a diamond in the rough. But giving away a pick or a potential player that ends up being of this caliber would be a mistake that no front office wants to live with. But that doesn't change the fact that the vast majority of the time, these second-round picks in the NBA draft go on to be these end-of-the-bench level players. Just out of curiosity, does anyone know who the last few 55th overall picks in the draft were and how their careers are turning out? Last year's 55th overall pick has played 1 game in the NBA.
Dang.
The one before that has played 23 games in 2 seasons.
Dang.
The 55th pick in 2021, Aaron Wiggins, is actually having himself a solid career so far.
Alright,
But
okay.
the one before him is out of the league. The one before that
Dang.
one is also out of the league.
Ian.
He's also out
Rapper.
of the league. Out
Dang.
of the league. Out
Dang.
of the league. Was never in the league.
Ooh.
Out of the league.
Ah.
And out of the league. As a late second rounder, if Bronny can contribute on any level in the NBA, he has already exceeded his draft value. And that's really the proposition in all of this. It would be incredible if Bronny developed into a
NBA scout counts Bronny as poor man's Donovan Mitchell before. Bruh, Jimmy, the guy who made this video, know what he was doing by saying all that. They're gonna put this article up there. How the probability of Bronny not being a lasting player in the league, said he's probably gonna be a poor man Donovan Mitchell. Davion Mitchell. I thought I said Donovan. Ooh, let's say Davion.
Davion Mitchell or Aaron Holiday caliber player. But the
Ooh,
reality
I said
is if
Donovan.
Bronny can provide any net positive value to his team, then selecting him in the draft will have been a great pick. There has never been a player projected to go this late in the draft with any expectations on what they should or will do in the league. These late draft picks have historically been reserved for players who might have been overlooked, players who maybe underperformed their potential at the collegiate level, players who organizations are willing to roll the dice on because there's virtually no opportunity cost associated with late second round picks. It's all upside at this point in the draft. If they don't work out, well, that's typical. If they do work out, well, then they've beaten the odds. And the very large point being overlooked in all of this talk about potential and value to the team and X's and O's, LeBron James has the opportunity to play basketball with his kid in the NBA. Let's just be honest. This is blatant nepotism, a classic case of it's who you know.
I ain't gonna lie. When he started the video, I thought he was gonna be on some BS. I thought he was gonna be on some bull. But for the fact that he said this is blatant nepotism, I'm glad he was a realist just like me.
Not what you know. But nepotism has ran rampant in the NBA for decades, and no one cared. Countless players,
True.
coaches, executives, owners who got their shot with far less merit than Bronny has. But now here we are sitting around talking about the integrity of a man who's played 21 seasons in the league and his son because they made the most of an otherwise paltry 55th pick in the draft, and the nepotism leaned in their favor this time around. We can criticize this decision all we want, preach about how this move was a breach of ethics, a slap in the face of the game we love. But then we would all be hypocrites, because there isn't a man on earth who would pass up on the chance to play in the NBA with his son.
There's not one man on earth. Deadbeat fathers are real. Some of these people in the NBA don't even know their fathers. That's really got really morbid. I didn't even mean to do that. I was being extra.
Even if it meant pulling a few strings to make it happen. As much as Bronny benefits from sharing the same last name as arguably the best basketball player of all time, that tag has also came with equal scrutiny. We have never seen a late second-round pick get discussed and limelighted like we've seen with Bronny. But we've also never seen a late second-round flyer get completely dissected and criticized like this. LeBron and Bronny have a chance to do something that has never been done in the history of the NBA. And that is worth more than any late second-round pick will ever be.
RDC World 1, basically, they did a skit about draft night with Bronny James. Go watch that. I did react to it, and see you later. Peace.